So President Cyril Ramaphosa will today officially open the G20 Foreign Ministers Meeting in Johannesburg. The gathering, which is hosted by International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola, takes place at the Nasrec Expo Centre today and tomorrow under South Africa's G20 Presidency. The theme this year is solidarity, equality and sustainability. The Foreign Affairs Ministers will reflect on South Africa's G20 Presidency deliverables. Pretoria wants inclusive economic growth, industrialization, employment and a reduction of inequality. Other priorities include food security, artificial intelligence and innovation for sustainable development. This year-long deliberation will culminate in a G20 Leaders Summit expected in November this year. Khayelihle Khumalo is part of our team watching developments and joins us now live from Nasrec. And I imagine, Khayelihle, more of these dignitaries have now started arriving.
Well, absolutely, and quite a very important moment for South Africa. As you know, that it's the first G20 in the African soil, a very influential global forum. I mean, really, these are developed economies alongside their counterparts from the developing world. So it's all about really finding solutions. But all of this really comes at a critical time, and whether geopolitics, whether you're looking at the conflicts, you're looking at the issues around underdevelopment, but also most importantly, issues around technological changes, among other things, really are really quite important. But for South Africa, really, four priorities, really. It's all about making sure that inequalities are being dealt with, but also that all-important issue around the beneficiation of the minerals. As you know, that South Africa is quite well-endowed country, but also a very important time for the country to showcase its tourism. I mean, right, our background is absolutely incredible, showcasing the Table Mountain in Cape Town, as the visitors will have an opportunity as well to explore the country. So this Foreign Affairs Ministers meeting, really, is part and parcel of those 130 meetings that will be held in South Africa. Obviously, the culmination will be in November, where the global leaders will descend into South Africa. But one of the key countries that will be here is, of course, Turkey, a very important country. When you talk about Russia, Ukraine, there was a point where Turkey Techman, actually, as you join us now, where Turkey actually hosted those first round of talks. But recently we saw also Saudi Arabia playing host to those negotiations between Russia and the US. So a paradigm shift in terms of these developments.
Yes, this G20 is a very important platform for geopolitics, international politics. Also, this is focusing economy, but we cannot separate economy and the international relation. Yes, is a lot going on in my region, in Turkey. Russia and US met in Saudi Arabia. Yes, that is surprising many, but is not surprising as a Turks. I'm not surprised because you remember the America came to Middle East and they had a kind of agreement with Russia. So Russia left, America left Central Asia to the Russia, because Soviet is collapsed and Russian Central Asian government is got their independence, but Putin is increasing their influence. So America allowed Russia there. So Russia and allowed America in Middle East. You remember in Syria, Russia and America, they were both in Syria, but they never had a conflict. So, but this already happening. So that's not surprise. But what is important things is happening now. The Trump is sidelined Europe. So Europe, America is increasing they want to increase their security in the Europe. And Turkey is very important country in that region because it's holding the NATO's second biggest army is belong to Turkey. So the Erdogan is hosted, Turkish President hosted Zelensky just this week. So Turkey is pushing for Ukraine's NATO membership. Russia and Turkey is a very strong relation in terms of business, but when it comes to the issues, security issues, they are also competing in that region for centuries. So now Europe is going to depend more on Turkey, and Ukraine is going to depend more on Turkey. You remember Turkey also mediated this grain deal, but it was not really successful. Also, Europe also competing Turkey. Turkey is not a EU membership. EU members. So they are trying to take Ukraine to their side. Yes, a lot of things going on. Also, so Africa become a very important because of is EU is gaining strength, and then the many conflict we are seeing in African continent now. African people also is countries also is we see DRC DRC is dividing African countries. So that's very important platform. Also, is a lot is happen. The Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, he was a former intelligence chief. Actually, we can say who toppled the Bashar al-Assad. He supported all the armed group, jihadist groups and Islamist groups. He supported and they toppled the Assad. So is a lot of things going on. Yes.
Quite a lot of things going on, Techman. Maybe let's talk about Turkey, Africa. I mean, obviously, we know that from time to time you'd have these gatherings, whether it's Russia, Africa, US, Africa, but in the context of Turkey, but also as a very key economy within the context of G20. Let's talk about the important ties here between the African continent and Turkey, as your foreign affairs minister will be represented as well.
Yes, but we need to also talk about which Turkey. So Turkey is not just one country, it's not a simple country. So lots of division within Turkey. So Turkey is Africa opening started 1998 and 2005 Erdogan declared Africa year. So they hosted African countries in Turkey. So since then, Turkey increased their embassies more than now is almost 50 embassies. Turkish Airlines is flying the highest point. But Turkish government, the Erdogan government closed down so many NGOs and schools in African continent. Turkey was like so many NGOs. They were mostly aid, organization, education. But now Erdogan is focusing more change and more focusing the security. So Kagame, Rwanda president was in Turkey before threatening Ramaphosa. So Turkey also mediate between Somalia and Ethiopia. So Turkey is playing very big role, but is mostly now is a security role trying to play in Africa, yes, Erdogan's government.
All right. Tegman, thank you so much indeed for that insight. Of course, I am one of the Turkish journalists really showing the diversity of the G20. After all, these are very important economies. You talk about 19 countries, including, of course, the regional organizations, the likes of European Union and also the African Union. And who would forget that important moment in New Delhi, when we saw the admission of the AU as a member of New Delhi through the leadership of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Quite a very important moment for Africa, because there's a realization that if you talk about inequality, you have to make sure that sub-Saharan Africa is part and parcel of these all-important discussions. So the program is starting rather late, but we'll certainly keep you posted during the course of the day, So with that, back to you in studio.
Yeah, the president expected at 2 o'clock, and of course we'll continue our build up to his opening address as soon as it starts. Khayelihle Khumalo for now, live to us from the Nasrec Expo Centre in Johannesburg.